Welcome to No Facts Needed, and today we're going to be talking about the LA Rams and how they're going to be mediocre this season. We have the Rams as the 16th best team in the NFL, right in the middle.
Out of 32.
Jeff Fisher is coaching them all over again. My record prediction, and I think your record prediction, is 9-7. Last year, they had a disappointing season coming off a Super Bowl loss, going 9-7 also. Vegas has them going 8-8. Let's talk about their schedule and how they're going to get to that. So they probably play in the hardest division with the 49ers, Hawks, and Cardinals, all hard teams to play. Mm-hmm. And then they go to the NFC East, play the Cowboys, Eagles, rough games, and then they play Washington and the Giants, which should be pretty easy. And then the AFC East, which is pretty easier with the Bills, Pats, Dolphins, and the Jets are just really bad.
Yeah.
So all in all, besides their division, it's a pretty easy schedule. Easier than most schedules. They didn't have a first-round pick because of the whole Jalen Ramsey thing. So they started off with second-round pick Cam Akers and Van Jefferson. And then they got Terrell Lewis and Terrell Burgess in the third round. Through the free agency, they signed Leonard Floyd and A'Shawn Robinson. But they lost Corey Littleton, Dante Fowler Jr., Greg Zerling, Nickel Roby Coleman, Todd Gurley, Clay Matthews. And then they traded Brandon Cooks, and they also lost defensive coordinator Wade Phillips. Thoughts?
Yep. A lot of losses, but that's what happens when you pay Jared Goff like a lot of money.
A lot of money. I felt like their free agency wasn't very good, but they made up for the draft with not having a first round, you know?
Yeah.
Let's talk about their positions and who's going to be playing on the field. Starting with Jared Goff, I graded him as a B. You want to talk about him?
Jared Goff is, I feel like he's kind of underrated at this point, even though he was overrated like going into last year. He's just, a solid system quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think he's a good game manager that, isn't going to make big plays, but he's going to do what you need him to.
Yeah, he struggles whenever they get the pass rush in his face, and he has a little bit of a fumbling problem, but he is really smart, like pre-snap and everything, knows what to do. And he's underrated as far as, like, his ability to move, outside the pocket.
All right, let's move on to running backs. I graded their running back position as a C+, because, we'll talk about that. They have Cam Akers, their second-round pick, Darrell Henderson, Mac Brown, and John Kelly. A lot of depth, but someone needs to step up in this running back group. I would assume Cam Akers, but, he hasn't played yet.
Probably just going to be a committee in all likelihood.
But a committee with not a lot of elite talent.
I mean, Henderson, we didn't really get to see him very much last year. A lot of people thought he was a sleeper. So maybe between him and Akers, I will say it means something that like Sean McVay believes in them.
Oh, yeah.
Because, he's big brain, but...
Okay, let's move on to wide receivers. I graded this position at a B+. No great number one guys, but you could say they got two low-end number ones in Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is a great route runner. I think everybody knows that. He can catch the ball, and his run after a catch is really good.
Yeah.
And then Robert Woods does everything well, isn't elite at anything, but he's a good number two for you. Mm-hmm. And then they also have Josh Reynolds, who's been hyped up a little bit, but hasn't done much. And then their second-round pick, who is Van Jefferson, probably I see starting, and we'll see what he does.
Do you think he's going to start?
Over Josh Reynolds, yeah. Let's move on to tight end. I gave them a B- just because they have depth, but no real elite talent. They have Tyler Higbee and Gerald Everett, who are like the same guys. Just like, in the NFL right now, they're starting tight ends, even though they're not elite.
Yeah. They're both pretty athletic, and, Higbee is going to be he's going to be the starter, but they're going to use both of them a lot.
Move on to the O-line. We graded them as a B. Do you want to talk about them?
Yeah, they kind of fell back to earth last year after being one of the best O-lines in 2018. Obviously, went to the Super Bowl. But yeah, they're returning all 5 starters, which is always a good thing. They have old Andy Whitworth, freaking ageless wonder. What is he, like 64 years old?
I think he's 69, actually.
Okay, nice. Opposite of him, they got Havenstein, who was on and off the field last year, but when he was playing, was really bad, to put it bluntly. Now, he had a really good year in 2018, kind of came out of nowhere and impressed a lot, but then last year was kind of bad. So, might, be a little bit of a make it or break it year for him. And then their interior line is nothing special at all. They've got a lot of guys who are solid starters, but not exactly like any real Pro Bowl talent.
Yep.
And then I think on their bench, they got a couple of interesting guys, Joseph Noteboom and Bobby Evans. Both have had some good moments, but have also struggled a little bit when they've got their opportunities to play. But who knows? One day might be the starters for them.
Next, we're going to be talking about the D-line and their defense.
Their D-line is pretty stacked.
I graded them as an A. Eli, do you want to talk about them?
So they got Brockers. They bring in Ashawn Robinson and also Greg Gaines, I think is a noteworthy name. All three of those guys are pluses. Like, they'll be able to win their matchups from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it doesn't hurt when you've got the best player in the entire NFL playing basically wherever he wants to play on the defensive line.
Who is that?
Oh, that's Aaron Donald.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. So he's going to, might get you 20 sacks in his season like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Well, yeah. And so a lot of these guys are going to benefit just because he's going to be getting double and triple teamed every single play. So all in all, I think that's a good thing. And that kind of leads into the edge rush also, which is kind of in the same boat. These guys aren't super talented, but with the amount of pressure that the interior is going to generate, I think they're going to be able to do their job and make them, a good pass rush like they've been in years past.
I graded their linebacker core as a C. One guy I want to point out is Leonard Floyd. He was the 9th overall pick 4 years ago and has not lived up to the hype at all, even on the Bears defense where he's going to be able to make plays. Only 3 sacks last year, but I could see him kind of becoming like a Dante Fowler, who last year got 11.5 sacks, so maybe he has that potential to kind of flourish in the system.
Yeah, I think their best pass rusher on the edge is Ebukam.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. He does a lot of different things. He's not like really good at any one thing, but he's kind of like a man of many talents for them. So
yeah,
he's
sure.
always good. And then I think Floyd, he's really athletic and he makes plays in the run game, but he's just never been able to get after the quarterback. So maybe this time, you're right.
And then the other 2 guys are kind of going to be a hole after Corey Littleton left and
Clay Matthews too.
Yeah, so I graded them as a C because they have potential on the outside to do real good, but the insides are going to be, I have no idea what's going to be there.
Yeah. Basically, they're running out a bunch of like undrafted guys other than Micah Kaiser, who played a lot for them last year. And then they brought in Kenny Young, and they have rookie Terrell Lewis. So between those 3 guys, you're hoping to probably get 2 middle linebackers to start for you. And, I would hope so because, like I said, after that, they have, like, pretty much no one with any experience or who was even drafted.
Graded their secondary as a B+, starting with Jalen Ramsey. He's a top-tier corner and probably was the best corner either a year or 2 ago. Little bit of a down year last year, but switching teams will do that. Having to learn a new system kind of messes with you. And then move on to the safety, John Johnson. 6 interceptions in the last 2 years. Solid guy right there. Taylor Rapp had a strong season as a rookie last year with 2 interceptions and 100 tackles. And then Troy Hill is just an older vet with 2 interceptions in each of his last 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think David Long, they're kind of expecting something out of him. Actually got some playing time last year, but kind of the same story after those 3 corners because they have a bunch of guys who are undrafted and off the streets. So I think the biggest question for them is obviously they have Jalen Ramsey, but they really need more help from their corners 2 through 4.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be relying on a lot of those guys, and they only have, like I said, like 3 corners who are very noteworthy at this point. Their safeties are good, though.
So now we know the team. We know what they can do. Let's talk about their ability and how far they can go this season. I put them as a playoff team, which I think I had them missing the playoffs, but I think they can definitely make the playoffs. They're not the Super Bowl team from 2 years ago, but the core is still there. They still have Jared Goff and the wide receivers, and some of the same defensive guys like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey can still play defense.
Yeah. I put things to look forward to. Sean McVay is a genius.
Yeah.
So I think as long as they have him there, unless like this year he just falls off the cliff, what they have to worry about is they get a lot of talent, but a lot of these players are looking more like rentals than like actual pieces.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of these guys they're bringing in like Brandon Cooks or Dante Fowler or whoever the case may
Ndamukong
be.
Suh, Aqib Talib. There's a long list.
They're giving up picks and stuff, paying these guys a lot of money on big deals, and then they're either cutting bait with them before the end of the deal or they're trading them away again. They're going to have to manage the cap super, super well just because they're paying like Aaron Donald's already making a lot of money. Jared Goff is already making a lot of money, and they haven't even paid Jalen Ramsey yet.
Yeah.
So if they can just kind of keep doing what they're doing and bringing in talent, I think they can benefit.
Yeah. And then one thing that's really going to be depressing for this team, you could say, is that the team is usually used to running the ball efficiently, but this isn't the O-line from 2 years ago, and they don't have a Todd Gurley on their team unless Cam Akers can really just show out. So they're not going to be able to control the ball like they used to, and they're going to have to rely on Jared Goff, which I don't know if that's the player you want to rely on. Well, this has been another episode of No Facts Needed, where we talk about the NFL teams and giving our predictions for this year. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let us know your record prediction down below.
One more thing. I want to know who they think number 15 is going to be. What team's next? And why is it the Cowboys?
Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.